Hello everyone, and this is BioPhoenix here, and we're back with another top list of video game music. And today we're going to be talking about Frutiger Aero. Now for those that are wondering, Frutiger Aero, like what is that? Like you're talking about fruits and arrows? Well, no. But it is a aesthetic style that was popular within the marketing and technology scene from 2004 to 2013, very similar to the Y2K. Although at the time, no one actually called it Frutiger Aero, instead it was originally called Web 2.0 Gloss. And while not a fancy name, it does make sense because it seemed like everything was very bright and glossy. Probably the easiest example to explain is Windows Vista and Windows 7. The start button on those two operating systems were a bubble, and they had that shiny glossy look to them with the vibrant colors. So yes, bubbles and glossy textures were a big part of it. Of course there is a lot more to it, like blue and green backgrounds of nature, and glass structures. And I still remember going into many electronic stores around that time, and everything just seemed so futuristic. But not the future where everything is dark and depressing, but a future where everything is bright, full of hope, like we're a step closer towards utopia. Yeah, I'm sure that sounds very pretentious, but to me it always did seem like that this style was the closest thing that we got to looking close to the future that's typically seen within movies and video games and such. So anyways, with all that aside, yes, we're gonna be talking about some music that definitely reminds me of things from that era. So expect a lot of video game music that has a very electronic music and some light techno. Nothing crazy techno, but you know, like the soft techno stuff. And I have been listening to quite a few Frutiger Aero playlists lately, and there's been some really great music in there, including some video game music, and it kind of gave me the idea of, yeah, I like to kind of throw in my own that I actually really like. And it's not in any particular order, so with that being said, let's begin. So the 10th one we're going to be talking about is R. Tenelico 3, Beginning at Chance. Now this is an RPG series that I've always really enjoyed. In fact, I've talked about the music more than enough, I think, because I really love the OST in like all the games. But this is a track in particular that I don't think I ever really talked that much about, and it is one that I always did really like. As again, it does sound very futuristic. In fact, I remember the spot where this song plays. I remember the floor that you're on is like see-through, so I mean that's kind of cool. But yeah, honestly, there's quite a few songs within this series that I easily could have put in here, but I figured I'd talk about this one because, well, it's one that I don't think gets talked about enough. For number 9, we have is Shin Megami Tensei 9 with Shinjuku. Yes, this is the Shin Megami Tensei game that was only released on the Xbox in Japan. And it's one that I do hope gets fan translated one day, which I'm sure it might happen eventually. And while a lot of the Shin Megami Tensei games have a lot more dark and menacing sounding soundtracks, and this one definitely does have some of that too, but this song in particular sounds like a futuristic city, which, well, of course that's what it is, but a bright city where there's nothing crazy going on. And as for number 8, we have is Piano 3, Track 7. Yes, we're talking about this game on the GameCube. Yeah, this game has a really good electronic soundtrack, and this song might actually be one of my favorite ones in the game. Like, the very beginning part of the song definitely does remind me of Bubbles, and well, that is very much the style that we're talking about here. As for number 7, we have is Chain Dive on PS2 with Stage 1. Although, to be honest, I could have picked, like, a bunch of them out of here, but I'll just go with the first stage music, because it's the most iconic one to me. But yes, this is a very cool, Japan-only game that I covered years ago, and I remember having a really fun time with it, and it has a really great build-up to it. for number 6, we have is Blue Reflection with 1.03 I Sun. Yeah, that's the name apparently. Yeah, so this is yet another RPG that actually came out way after the Frutiger era ended, but yet the song definitely does sound like something that would have came from there. Even the game's art direction kind of reminds me of it too in some aspects, like there's a lot of like bright green grass and bubbles. But yeah, it's a nice piano track with some light electronic stuff in the background that does give it a nice vibe. And for number 5, we have is F-Zero GX with Feather. Yeah, whenever I think of F-Zero GX music, I always think of like the stuff that you hear during the races, which are great, but a lot of the menu music and all like the other stuff, I tend to not think about them as much, but when you sit down and really listen to them, they're still just really damn good, and this song in particular definitely has that vibe that does remind me of it a lot. As for number 4, we have is quite possibly one of the most random ass games ever, and that being Actual Golf, the main menu. Yeah, I don't really play golf games, but hot damn, this one goes way harder than it had any right to being. Hell, it probably might even be the best song I ever heard out of a golf game ever. as for number 3, we have is Virtua Fighter 4, the main menu and customized theme. But I should mention that I'm talking about the first version of Virtua Fighter 4, not the Pro Evolution one. Yeah, even though that version has more content in it, unfortunately the menu design and the music for it is not nearly as cool looking. I really wish they would have kept that, but oh well. But yeah, that's for the music though. It's a very short song, but it's a short song that I don't really get tired of because I just find it just sounds so majestic. And as for number 2, we have is Xenosaga 1 with UMN Mode. Yeah, this is the song that plays whenever you check your email with that bunny thing. And I always loved hearing this track for that. Not only is it just a very nice, relaxing track, but I still remember the very first time that I've heard this song. It really did feel like I was going into the future. Like, hearing this when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, like, this is gonna be the song that's gonna play while I'm using a futuristic computer. And I wasn't wrong on that, because I do occasionally throw this song on my phone and my computer sometimes. Alright, before we get to the last one, we're gonna go through some honorable mentions, and of course, I can't mention everything, as there's like a lot out there, but these are just some extra ones I just wanted to throw on here. So there's Trace Memory on the DS with Blood Edward Island, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Your Sunset, Sonic 06, Aquatic Base Level 1, yeah, say what you want about the game, but that song, damn good. Fatal Inertia with Swamp 1, Romania number 203, and this game has a ton of music that definitely fits into this, so I just wanted to just mention the game and say that, yeah, would recommend listening to that one. And then there's the visual novel My Merry May with Lise. That one I do see pretty often on playlists. Elebits with the multiplayer mode. And finally I'll mention is Lack of Love on the Dreamcast with Birth. And I will go out and say that the composer for that game, Ryuichi Sakamoto, has also done some really awesome stuff outside of video games. And as for the number 1 spot that I'm picking here, happens to be Flux, with the song Walking in the Park. Now, in case you don't know what this game is, this was a puzzle game that was only released on PC, where you just gotta destroy a bunch of blocks that are, like, matching together. Yeah, it's pretty similar to games like Bejeweled. But man, let me tell you, the entire soundtrack for this game is just absolutely incredible, and is well worth listening to if you love this type of music. And it was kind of hard to pick which one I wanted to talk about here, but there was two in particular that I wanted to. One of them being Walking in the Park, and the other one being Heart of Loneliness. But I think I'm going to talk about Walking in the Park because this is the one song that kind of sounds like if Frutiger Aero had a nighttime setting. Yeah, this sounds like a song that you'd hear when you're walking in a park at night in a futuristic city. I don't know, that's just what I think of. But yo, I freaking love this song. And that'll be it for this video. So, what are some of your favorite things about this era of technology? I just think it's just really cool looking, and I've been really enjoying listening to a lot of these playlists, and hopefully, if you're new here, then you can add some of these to your new playlist. So, with that being said, thanks for watching and commenting, and have yourselves a great day.